Guys, guess what? Christmas came early. Guess what is at the Christmas tree? We have the Sivga chair. Today we are diving into another budget IEM with a twist on the usual aesthetics. No generic black resin or metal shell here. The Sivga chair is a single dynamic driver IEM priced at about 75 American dollars. It's an excellent option for those of you who want a warm V-shaped sound. Let's get into the details. If you are new to the channel, please drop a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. It will help me bring you more interesting gear in the future. And if you are already a subscriber, a big thank you for your support. Kicking things off with an unboxing, the Kiwiears packaging has a distinctly Chinese vibe with large characters on the front and line drawings similar to clouds, like what you see in the visuals from Black Myth Wukong. Kinda like the scrollwork at the end of each chapter. Inside, you will find the IEM along with a brown faux leather case that contains the cable and 2 sets of ear tips. Pretty standard packaging, nothing too fancy. Build quality. So a standout feature of the Kiwiears is its zinc alloy shell with a beautiful maple wood faceplate engraved with the Sivga logo. The wood grain adds a unique characteristic, giving each its own unique look. While it's a budget IEM, the Kiwiears feels premium with its champagne gold shell, although there's a visible seam where the 2 shells meet. The finish on the zinc alloy shell is smooth, though it's susceptible to scratches and scuffs. The included cable is a 0.78mm 2-pin configuration with silver-plated copper conductors, giving it a bright silver sheen that complements the Kiwiears aesthetics. It is pliable and holds very little memory with plug terminations and Y splitters anodized to match the shell, making it feel pricier than it actually is. The ear tips are basic but also pretty comfortable. I really like the cable. The cable do look premium, especially at its price point. Talking about comfort, the Kiwiears is an average size IEM with no protrusions that might cause discomfort. They sit comfortably and flush in my ears with a weight that isn't overly fatiguing for long listening sessions. Though the zinc alloy shell might feel heavy for some users, but for me it is perfectly manageable. Getting into the good bit, sound. The Kiwiears delivers a V-shaped sound with punchy bass that's free of bloat, making it a very good choice for various genres. The single beryllium-plated dynamic driver provides a dynamic and enjoyable sound signature with sweet upper mid-range energy reminiscent of classic single dynamic driver IEMs such as the Acoustune HS1003. First up, talking about bass, the bass is punchy, solid and well-textured with good extension and very natural decay. Detail level is plenty decent. It is more than adequate for casual listening. The dynamic driver ensures a cohesive sound with no issues in coherence. Quantity of bass is plentiful with impactful dynamics, making it quite a joy to use when watching movies. Transient here is adequately fast for it to still convey the resonances of bass. Next up, let's talk about mid-range. Mid-range is very prominent with a warm tint. They are generally pretty clear sounding with beautiful levels of detail. Upper mids can be a bit too prominent for some folks, but I think in 2024, this is perfectly acceptable. But for folks who want a more laid-back mid-range presentation, then I think that it might not be for you. This is more similar in line to the EA500LM. Resolution here is good as you can hear the nuances of music quite easily. Also, I found them to be tonally consistent and cohesive between male and female vocals. Instruments sound natural with good timbre and decay, and the upper mids brings a very nice sweetness without it being overwhelming for me. Treble. The treble is surprisingly well extended with good air and headroom. There's no harshness or resonances, making it enjoyable across most tracks. Treble details are solid and the overall sound is smooth and natural. Next up, soundstage. Firstly, when it comes to width and height, I found that the Kiwiears renders soundstage to be above average. It isn't the most expansive sounding when it comes to width and height, but sound rather intimate, creating a cozy and enveloping listening experience. Some may prefer a wider soundstage, but the Kiwiears close-in presentation is ideal for immersive up-close listening. Depth and positioning. Depth is very well rendered on the Xuan thanks to its excellent levels of dynamics provided. This helps create a very good sense of layers between music. Positioning is also plenty accurate sounding as the upper mids help with this quite a bit. In terms of technical performance, the Xuan maintains a natural tone with good note separation for faster tracks. It does not reach the hyper detailed sound of some hybrid models, but certainly can hold its own for it to be very engaging. Next up, let's talk about some comparisons. Firstly, versus the Tangzu Xuan. Now, the Xuan is a dual dynamic driver IEM with a similar warm signature, but the Xuan is much easier to drive and it also has more dynamics due to its better efficiency. Positioning is also more precise on the Xuan. The Xuan by comparison sounds more sluggish, and this makes me really appreciate the Xuan more for its nimbler performance. Resolution on the Xuan is also a level or two above that of the Xuan. Next up, versus the Kiwiears Canta. Now, the Canta is a hybrid IEM with one dynamic driver and two planar drivers, offering a leaner tone and stronger upper mids emphasis. However, the Xuan is more dynamic and cohesive, making it a versatile choice for both music and movies. The Canta excels for music while doesn't do as well as the Xuan when it comes to movies, so it lacks a bit of versatility. I can see how some folks will love the Canta when it comes to female vocals, but the Xuan to me is a little bit more versatile. Next up, some things I like and dislike about the Xuan. So, some things that I like on the Xuan. Firstly, it is very dynamic sounding and has very punchy bass response. That is good for the days where you want bass to hit you like a truck. I won't say that these are bass head IEMs, but they certainly are very satisfying. Secondly, I enjoy the tonal color that the Xuan renders. It has a very natural and cohesive timbre. I found that the Xuan is very fun to listen to. Comfort is also great on this, and lastly, I really dig the wooden shell as well. Of course, no IEM is perfect, and here are some things that I do not like about it. Well, or things that people could nitpick on. Firstly, bass, although plentiful, can be a negative for some folks who might find it a little bit too much. It does not bleed, but you certainly will divert your attention to bass because it's just so prominently there. Next, treble extension is good, but I feel that it can be a tad bit better, perhaps a tad bit airier. Anyways, moving on to ratings. So for bass, it gets a solid 8. It is very natural and dynamic and very big sounding. And for mid-range, I give it a very solid 7.5. It is very sweet and has really good even tonality. Treble extension gets a 7. It has good headroom and air, but I think that it can do a bit better. Resolution is a solid 7.5. It is very refined for its price class. Soundstage also a 7.5. It is cozy yet dynamic sounding. Now, it isn't the widest, but sometimes the intimacy is actually quite nice. And lastly, for the most important thing, the enjoyment factor. How much did I enjoy the Xuan? It gets a solid 8. This is one that is very nice to listen to. The build quality is amazing. The cable is fantastic. So yeah, you can't really fault that too much. And finally, in conclusion, yes, these are a pair that I like quite a lot. The cable is stunning for its asking price. I think if you're in the market for a first IEM and don't really want to pick something that is from the bargain basement, the Xuan is a solid offering for one that is below $100. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. You are a fantastic person if you have already done so. See you soon.